Hi there, gorgeous. Hope you're doing well. I'm in the middle of recovering from this sickness that I've been battling this whole past week. My whole family has had it. It's been so if I seem a little out of it or I sound congested, nasal, please bear with me. Today's video is inspired by you and a lot of requests that I've seen over the past couple months, specifically about my neutral eyeshadow looks that I wear quite often in videos. And there are several that have become my go-to looks that I wear when I really don't know what to wear. So you've seen many of these several times over, I'm sure. And when I wear them, I always get asked, what eyeshadows did you use? How do I recreate that look for myself? So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the palette that I used, and I'll show you 5 mini tutorials of those looks that I have worn in past videos in case you would like to recreate any of the looks that you've seen for yourself. Now, the palette that I'm using today is one of my all-time favorites. I've had it for many years now, and it has become my go-to neutral palette for the everyday looks that I'm showing you here. And that is the Viseart Neutral Matte palette. Now, this does retail for $80, which I know sounds like a lot of money, and trust me when I say it took me several months when I first started considering it to even think of purchasing it. And I actually purchased it with a gift card that I got from someone, if I'm being honest. And honestly, when I got it, I broke it down and it came out to about $6 per eyeshadow, I think, which when you look at it from that perspective, given how much you're getting per pan and the quality, how very little amount you need to get the looks that I'm showing you here today, that really is an affordable price point in my mind. And so that helped me justify the price. And it is something that I would say absolutely, if you get a gift card or you have a gift request for someone for a birthday, anniversary, Christmas, whatever the case may be, this is a palette that is absolutely worth getting. Now, I did find a dupe for it several years ago in an older video, and I will have this one linked for you below, and that is from Beauty Treats. And I found this one in a Five Below store for $2. This was several years ago. I don't think that they carry this anymore because it was starting to get sold out about 6 months after I made that video also. Not because of me, but just because they rotate their inventory quite often. But you can still find this online, so I will try to track it down and have it linked for you below if you're interested, because that is an excellent palette to take place of the Viseart Neutral Matte, and you'll still be able to create a lot of the looks that I'm sharing here with you here today. I wish I could tell you I've taken something, but no, I'm good. I just have a foggy brain today. I just want to let you know up front also, if this is the first video you've seen from me, I don't make any of my looks complex. That's not who I am. That's not the kind of makeup looks that I create, and some people have gotten really upset with me in the past for not making these looks that are really extravagant and outlandish, and that's just not me. I pride myself on making easy looks that are simple for you to recreate, that are great for every day, very wearable. The looks I'm showing you here today don't use more than 2 to 3 eyeshadows at a time, so they're ones that, again, quick, easy, you're looking for something, get you out the door fast. You'll enjoy a good majority of these. So the first look I have to share with you is one of my all-time favorites. I shouldn't say that because all of these are. So to recreate this one, I used the medium brown from the palette in the crease. And the only thing that really stinks about this palette is there's no way to reference the eyeshadows. There are no names or numbers on them, so I'll just have to point to the palette to show you which shade I'm using as we go. And once I have that blended into the crease, I go in with this light peach and apply it to the inner half of the lid. And you can see what I mean here with the quality that you get with this palette. The smallest amount of eyeshadow on the brush, and you have such a amazing pigmentation on the skin. And then I go back in with the same medium brown that I used in the beginning, and I apply it onto the outer half of the lid. And I usually do this with a fluffy brush to keep the look soft. You can use a more densely packed brush if you want a more intense layer of color, but I like to keep these looks very soft, which I feel like adds to their appeal. And for each of the looks I'm showing you here also, I will have the lashes that I used and the lipstick that I paired these up with listed in the bottom portion of the screen also, in case you're curious. And for the second look that I absolutely love with this palette, I took the same medium brown that I used in the last look, applied it into the crease. It is one of my all-time favorite colors in this palette because it's so versatile in so many different looks. And then I took the white shade from the palette and applied this on the inner half of the lid. Now you can see how extreme this white shade is, and I don't generally like to leave it like that on my eye. You can, but I like a softer look, so I will take a fluffy brush afterwards and blend over it softly, minimal pressure, to help lighten it and get it to blend into the skin so it looks effortless. And finally, I take the darkest brown from the palette and apply it on the outer half of the lid. And again, I use a fluffy brush for application to keep the look soft. Now you can use a more densely packed brush if you want intense contrast and color payoff. It's really up to you as to the type of look that you want in the outcome. I also take a little bit of that dark brown and apply it into the outer V. And this next look is one that when I wear it, I always get asked what it is specifically because it makes my eyes look bluer from what I've been told. And it uses the grays in this palette, which can sometimes pull a little lavender depending on what lipstick I'm wearing, and that's what makes it such a unique look. So to create this look specifically, I take the medium gray from the palette and apply it into the crease. And then I also carry this eyeshadow down to the outer half of the lid with the same fluffy brush, using a similar technique that I used in one of the previous looks. I take that white eyeshadow again, apply it to the inner half of the lid, first with a dense brush so I get an intense color payoff, and then I go back with a fluffy brush to blend the harsh lines and diffuse the eyeshadow so it softens into the skin. And you'll notice in the completed look here that the gray eyeshadow that I used in the crease turns into 2 eyeshadows almost, so it looks like I used 3 eyeshadows when in reality I only used 2. And that's what I love so much about this palette, is that it's such a chameleon palette where certain eyeshadows can pull different colors depending on how you blend them or combine them up, and it makes it look like the look was a lot more complex than what it really was. The fourth look that I love to do with this palette is the one that I'm wearing in today's video, so if you've been curious about what's on my eyes, this is how to recreate it. It is a little more peachy in tone, but very beautiful. It uses the medium brown first in the crease, and just give the skin a light wash of the color, and then I go in with this shade from the palette and apply it to the outer half of the lid. And I would describe this as a darker brown that pulls orange. It's got very rich, warm tones in it, so it does pull the look more orange leaning. And then I take the medium peach from the palette and apply this on the inner half of the lid, and you can see that all 3 of those colors are starting to blend and mold together, and sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't. So what I do when I don't really feel that whole peach warm vibe that's happening there, I'll go back with the white eyeshadow and layer it over that medium peach to help lighten it, and this helps to break up some of that color and keep it a little more neutral if I don't want it to pull so orange. And one thing I'll do quite often with this palette too, and I'll show you in this look, is I'll take the deepest brown from this palette and use an angled brush to line the upper lash line. And sometimes I'll line the outer half of the lower lash line also, and then smoke it out with an eyeliner brush. And that helps to keep the look soft also, by not adding a harsh liquid eyeliner or a harsh gel eyeliner, but it's completely up to you. It's just an option that I wanted to share that I do from time to time. The last look that I have to share with you is one that is not day appropriate. I mean, I've worn it in the day and it's okay. And if you are of deep skin tone, you could absolutely pull it off in daytime. So I guess I really shouldn't say that, but this is one that for me would be considered more of a night look, and every time I wear it in videos I get asked, how did you do that? Because it makes my eyes look incredibly blue. And that's because it uses grays. Grays are phenomenal for those of us with blue eyes. So to recreate the look that I'm showing you here, I first take that medium gray from the palette, well, I guess I should say the darkest gray from the palette, and apply it all over the lid. And I do tend to use a more densely packed brush for a more intense application, but you can absolutely use a more fluffy brush for a smoky effect. Additionally, if you wanted to use the gray that is located directly beside it in the palette to get a softer look, you absolutely can. It's really up to you as to which one you use. And then I take the medium brown, once again, this is my favorite eyeshadow out of the entire palette, and I use that to blend the crease. Some days that's all I do, and the look is complete with just those two simple eyeshadows. But on days when I want a little more drama in the look, I'll take just a touch of that dark brown from the palette and blend it into the deeper parts of the crease and deepen and define that area so that it makes the look a little bit more intense. Additionally, you can add a nude eyeliner on the waterline or a black eyeliner if you want to intensify the look even further. I like to go either way. It really depends on my mood, but this is one of my all-time favorite looks to create with this palette. And that's it. My top 5 neutral, easy, everyday, go-to looks. The ones that I pull out of my back pocket when I simply just don't know what to wear, or I'm in a rush. I need to get out the door. I need something fast, and I don't want to use a lot of eyeshadows to do it. That's my go-to palette. All right, I'm gonna go before I hack myself into another fit here. Anyway, thank you again. I look forward to seeing you again next time, hopefully in a video where I can get all the way through it without coughing. See you then.